You've got a friend in me. Yes, you've got a friend in me. When the road looks rough ahead and you're miles and miles from your nice warm bed, you just remember what your old pal said. Yes, you've got a friend in me. Yes, you've got a friend in me. You've got a friend in me. Yes, you've got a friend in me. You've got troubles, I've got them too. There isn't anything I would not do for you. If we stick together, we can make it through. Yes, you've got a friend in me. Yes, you've got a friend in me. Now some of the folks might be a little bit smarter than I am, bigger and stronger too, but none of them will ever love you the way that I do. Just me and you, boy. Well, as the years go by, our friendship will never die. You're gonna see it's our destiny. Yes, you got a friend in me. Yes, you got a friend in me. Yes, you got a friend in me. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Happy Sunday.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the 10:30 service this Sunday. Welcome to those here in person and everyone online to the Center for Spiritual Living in Granada Hills. My name is Vino Alag, and I'm a practitioner here, and I'm really thankful to be here with each and every one of you. Here at Granada Hills, we begin our morning service with lighting the flames of faith. This is a call to service, and I'd like to invite Reverend Thor up here to light the candles this morning. We perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all people and all faiths, all sentient beings, come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. Fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here today. As Reverend Thor lights the first candle for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practice of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. We light the third candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the Four Noble Truths and the path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the Christ consciousness as the path of love. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. We light the 10th candle for those who are as yet unaware of spirit in their lives, and for the space we are holding for them here at the center. As Reverend Thor lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experienced the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is one flame is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
Let's stay here for a few moments longer, centered in the oneness, the one mind, the one universal consciousness, the one heart, knowing that each and every one of us in person and online is unified with that divinity, with that all that is, with that gorgeous, glittery God stuff we call life, we call love, we call source. Knowing that we are each unique expressions of that divine. Knowing that today's service unfolds perfectly, that the right and perfect message is heard, that we leave here uplifted, expanded, minds open at the top, hearts connected in deeper and deeper ways with this community, with one another, with our own selves. How grateful I am to be here this morning, so grateful to be a part of this spiritual community of Granada Hills. And it is with this full and grateful heart I release my word to the law, knowing it is all done, knowing it is all love. And together we affirm by saying, and so it is. Good morning, everyone. So I'd like to share an experience I had recently. It was actually last weekend. I had the opportunity to go to Founders Church over in Koreatown. And raise your hand if you've been there before. So about half have been. I had never been there. And for those of you who don't know, this was like the first church Ernest Holmes had created. And he hired this architect, this amazing architect named Paul Williams, and he had a vision. So if you get a chance, even if you don't have a chance to go down there, you can just go home and look it up online, the photos. It's this big circular building with a dome roof. And it was very intentional, that design, because Ernest Holmes wanted it to symbolize wholeness, unity, and that one love that this teaching is. So the reason I went there is that Dr. Irvin Mike had sent an email out to the practitioners inviting us to join for the installation of the new head minister at that church. I believe there have only been 3 head ministers until now. Dr. Ernest Holmes, Dr. Hornaday, Dr. Chang, and now the new minister. So I thought, I've always wanted to check out this church. This is the perfect opportunity. But what started off as just like curiosity and a desire to join in more of these events ended up being so much more. I was really moved by the ministers speaking. They had several who spoke at the installation. Our own Dr. Mike was a presenter as well, and he spoke. And I just felt really uplifted. And I'm not sure if it was, I'm sure it was a combination of it all. The words that I was hearing, the space. As I sat there in this huge space, looking around, I was like, wow, Ernest Holmes was up there on that stage. He was up there on that stage. He had made his vision a reality. I could talk about that another time, but that's the energy I was feeling, right? But what I'd like to share with you today is I had been grappling with the situation prior to going that morning. And as I was left inspired, and I had a whole hour drive home because, I live here and Founders is, in Koreatown. I had a whole hour to just kind of sit in the feeling and what I was going through. And I realized I had some big choices to make, and they weren't necessarily easy choices. So a question occurred to me. To whom or to what am I ultimately responsible? In other words, how do we discern between personal preference and spiritual guidance? We all wear different hats in life, right? We may be a parent, we may be a teacher, we may be a minister, We may be a public speaker. We may be an employer or an employee. And eventually, decisions have to be made sometimes that don't feel good. Maybe your kid wants to do something this summer and you just can't take the time off. Or maybe there's not enough money in the bank right now. Maybe you have to let an employee go. And they're really kind and really friendly, but they're just not the right fit, or cuts have to be made. These are really hard choices. So what happens is we're given this invitation to discern between what do I prefer and what is the best for everyone involved. Because sometimes what I prefer is just to make everyone feel good. What I prefer is to be able to tell everyone, do exactly what you want, when you want, how you want it, because I don't want to disappoint you. But when we're making some hard choices, we have to decide, do I think about just me, or do I think about the whole? Right? I thought again about one of Michael Beckwith's visioning questions. He asks, what is trying to emerge through me? What is trying to emerge through me is very different from what do I want? It's a question we can sit with in silence. And that's when we recognize, oh, I am part of a greater whole. I am part of something bigger than just this physical body, right? Ernest Holmes reminds us that there is one life expressing itself through all of us. If that's true, then we can trust that we are guided moment by moment by a wisdom greater than our personal opinions. When I'm making decisions, am I serving my preferences, or am I serving the highest good? It sounds kind of like nebulous, right? What's this highest good? Like, how do we know what the highest good is? Is there like a graph? Is there a chart or a survey? But really, it's when we get into alignment with ourselves, when we get alignment with Source, with God, with all that is, whatever your connection is to the universe that's outside yourself, that's actually within yourself. Because when we're in alignment, we know. We know when we are coming from integrity, and we know when we're coming from scarcity or lack. We just know. It's this divine innate thing within us. So perhaps our spiritual practice isn't meant to eliminate uncertainty. Perhaps it's meant to deepen our trust that we are being guided, held, one step at a time. I'd like to leave you with these words from a poem called Start Close In by David White. Start close in. Don't take the second step or the third. Start with the first thing close in, the step you don't want to take. Thank you.
Wish I knew how it would feel to be free. I wish I could break all the chains holding me. I wish I could say all the things I should say. Say them loud, say them clear, for the whole wide world to hear. I wish I could share all the love that's in my heart. Remove all the bars that keep us apart. I wish you could know what it means to be me, and then you'd see and agree that every man should be free. I wish I could give all I'm longing to give. I wish I could live like I'm longing I wish I could do all the things that I can do, although I'm way overdue. I'll be starting anew. Wish I could be like a bird in the sky. Oh, how sweet it would be if I found out I could fly. Oh, I saw, and I'd look down at the sea, and I'd sing 'cause I know. Yes, I'd sing 'cause I know. I'd sing 'cause I know. I'd sing 'cause I know. Yes, I'd sing 'cause I know. Oh, I'd sing 'cause I know. Yes, I'd sing 'cause I know how it feels to be free.
All right, thank you guys, thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you, Jason. That was awesome.
Thank you.
My foot kept tapping back there. A few announcements this morning. Practitioners are available today in the treatment room for a 2-minute affirmative prayer. If you're a licensed practitioner, please raise your hand. You can go to any one of these people with something you would like to discuss today. Kind reminder, please help us maintain the cleanliness in our spiritual home. We ask that all food and drinks be kept out of the sanctuary. There are some important decisions and upcoming happenings in our community. Please make sure you are a CSLGH member and your contact info is up to date. There are member applications and contact forms in Sparks Hall. You can also see Danny in the office. It's really simple to fill out these member forms. So if you think it's like a daunting process, it is not. It's very easy. And you get a say then in the happenings of our center. Please see this Wednesday, July 1st edition of the newsletter to review the 3 senior minister candidates' upcoming schedule later in July. So we have now 3 candidates for July. They will each have a whole weekend. Check the schedule out, block your calendars. Save the dates for these important weekends. Later in the evening, Wednesday, July 1st at 7 p.m., join Dr. Maureen Hoyt and Reverend Nancy Woods for an open forum discussion on all topics science of mind. Love donations accepted at the door. Tomorrow, June 29th at 6:55 p.m., celebrate the full strawberry moon here in our sanctuary. Gratitude box, Barbara.
Okay, Lisa picked it out this morning for me. It's a long one. I am grateful for Center for Spiritual Living. It's a little heart. The ministers, the practitioners, the staff, both another heart, administrative and audiovisual, the musicians, childcare, and everyone who enters our doors and graces us with their presence. I don't know what that is. And a little heart.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please stand and join for the Declaration of Principles. We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe that the universal spirit is personal to and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe that our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life and in the immortality of the individual soul forever expanding. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all. Please remain standing.
We are opening, our hearts are ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. We are opening, we are opening, our hearts are ready to receive. I am opening, I am opening, my heart is ready to receive. We are opening, we are opening, our hearts are ready to receive.
At this time, I'd like to introduce Reverend Dr. Thor Challgren. He's a New Thought minister, teacher, and TEDx speaker whose work explores consciousness, identity, and the courage to begin again. He holds a doctorate in consciousness studies and is the author of What Do You Believe, Really? With a BA and MFA from UCLA, Dr. Thor brings a grounded, thoughtful approach to spiritual living, blending depth, humor, and practical wisdom for real life. Let's welcome him back again.
Thank you so much. It is fantastic to be here with you. I'm so grateful and privileged to be speaking with you and to be in your presence this morning, especially because for me, this is a very exciting time of year. It's the kind of experience that when you go around, everybody is in such a good mood. They're so happy because, of course, it's almost half New Year. So they're excited. This is the season of holidays. And no, am I the only one that celebrates half New Year? Is this not a thing for everyone else? It is for me, because I'm a little bit of a geek around stuff like this. In fact, I had to make this slide myself because I can't believe it, but there is not an actual half New Year slide. So I made it myself. But it's interesting because if you think about December 28, people are in such a good mood, and there's an expectancy about the year ahead, the excitement about what could be, and everyone's thinking about what they're going to do in that next year. And so for me, what happens a lot of times, and I may be the only one, people will make resolutions or set intentions, and then somewhere around January 15, they become less committed to those intentions. And I think part of it is because a year can seem like a long time to hold something in your consciousness, where you say, I want to do something, I want to be something, I have the intention to do this. A year can feel like, wow, how am I going to do that? So a half year, I think, is way more doable. So what I want to talk with you about this morning is this idea of half-year resolutions and what's possible for you in the second half of the year. If I think about, for me, for the first half of the year, my big intention was that my wife and I were celebrating our 30th wedding anniversary. So this is a picture of us going on a trip to celebrate 30 years together. This is us in the Bahamas. We had a wonderful trip, and it was great to sort of be in that energy of, wow, we did this for 30 years, and we grew, and we had challenges, and we whatever it was, 30 years, that's a big milestone. So that's what I did in the first half. The second half of the year, which is what I want to talk about today, is what can you do in the next 6 months, the next 6 in 26. And the theme that CSL has this month of higher, deeper love is one that I was sort of thinking about, and especially, 30 years, you're thinking about higher, deeper love. You are committing to, sort of recommitting to that love, that experience that you have with this person. But putting aside the things that you can do in 2026, if you think about what if I just bring more intentional love to experiences, and there's a lot going on in the world that maybe is not always our preference for what we'd like to see, but you can always bring a higher, deeper love to that experience. And so as I was thinking about that notion, it brought me back to an experience that I had recently where my wife and daughter and I went on a trip, and we went to Hawaii. And I was sharing earlier with some people that I lived for a couple of years in Hawaii, and so I get to go back and see friends and see where I lived, went swimming, went running, and also went to my high school 45th reunion. I always trip on that because I'm like, really? Can it be that many years? Yes, it is. My 45th high school reunion. So that was that experience. And while we were there on that trip, I was very clear that I wanted this to be like a really relaxing trip because there had been a lot of stuff that had happened before that. And so I wanted to do things like get up and go see the sunrise. This is the sunrise in Queen Kapiolani Park in downtown Honolulu. Or I wanted to go swimming, or I wanted to run. My daughter had her own ideas. She said, you know what I'd really love to do is go ziplining. And here's the good thing about having a 26-year-old. If you want to do something or go anywhere, she's invaluable because she'll just pull out her phone and she'll be like, oh, we could do this. And she described this whole experience of like, well, there's this zipline place that's on the North Shore of Oahu. It's about an hour drive from where we were, and then an hour drive home. And I'm hearing this going, wait, was I not clear about what I wanted? Not that I'm the only decision maker, but what I really wanted was to relax. And she said, no, I really want to go ziplining. And I thought, driving up an hour, driving back an hour, like I could just do that here in California. I could spend 2 hours in the car in California. I'd go to Hawaii for that experience. But thinking back to higher, deeper love, I thought about the way that I presented this to her. And I knew that it was important to her that she really wanted to do it. And in the moment, I could have been like, and how often do we do this, where we're just like, fine, whatever, I'll do it. And you bring an energy to that experience that it's not love. It's certainly not higher, deeper love. It's like a annoyance or grievance energy or pet. Like, that's not who we are. And she grew up in this teaching, so she will call me out in a second. And so she did, and I realized, you know what, you're right. If I say yes, it needs to be a yes that comes from a place of love. So I sort of did some work on myself. I treated for it, and then I knew, yes, I do want to do that because I thought about the blessings of it, which was getting to spend that time with her and seeing her come to light in this experience that she had. So the title of my talk is Add More Zip, which is what we did. And now I have to say, that is not me. All the rest of the pictures will be me, but this is not me. This is apparently, I learned a little bit about ziplining. This pose is called Spider-Man because you're like upside down, hanging from like a web or whatever. So I never did that. We'll probably never do that. But that was the experience. And so I found, and the reason why I came back to this and want to share this is because I think the metaphor of ziplining perfectly describes how we can look at science of mind. So when you are ziplining, what happens is you get this harness that goes around your body, and it's a very substantial harness. It has a big hook. You can see that gentleman in the gray shirt has a big hook, and what happens is the pulley that goes on the guide wire gets attached to your hook. Like, these are all massively strong pieces of metal, and so they'll hook you up. You stay on this side of the fence, and you'll hook yourself to the safety line, and only when you're hooked to the safety line will they let you go on the other side. You go stand on the box, and then you just jump off. And the nature of a zip line is that the way this course worked is there were 8 zip line. So you would, 8 different lines, so you'd go to the very top of the mountain, and you'd take one line down, and then you'd be on a platform. You take another line down, all the way down. There was one that you could go 50 miles an hour on the zip line, one that was half a mile long. So you get this whole variety. Now, I have never done, up until this moment, I've never done zip line. So for me, that would bring up a few emotions. And I want to think about this and put this context of, so if you think about the next 6 months and imagine that you're on this platform and they've got this harness hooked up to you and you're now about to go from the thing you want to your destination, and I ask you this question, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Because in the world of ziplining, you pretty much can't fail. You have this harness on, which you think about, this is the power of the universe, of God, of this energy that supports you and says, whatever you hook yourself to, you will achieve that. You'll end up in that destination. When you use your mind consciously to decide what you want, you will end up in that destination. So what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? Well, a lot of times we come back to the question of why don't we do that? If we know that it's true, and if you know and understand this teaching, why don't we do those things? Well, I can tell you, when I was standing on that platform, emotions would come up. Butterflies, concern, fear would come up. And there's a movie, it's funny, Jason was playing the music from Toy Story this morning. You've Got a Friend in Me. There's another Pixar movie that perfectly encapsulates this idea of all of the emotions that are going on in our head. It's the movie Inside Out and the sequel, Inside Out 2. Now, if you don't know the movie, the premise of it is that the protagonist, who's like a 10, 11-year-old girl, we see personified all the emotions that are going on in her head. They actually have personalities. And we see how they control her life and how she allows them to control her life and makes those choices. And so in the second movie, the sort of star of that one is this character, which is anxiety. Anxiety steals the show, steals her mind. Those are all of the other emotions that are basically overrun by anxiety, because now in the second movie, she's 13 years old. So she's dealing with all of those issues that a 13-year-old would deal with of am I liked? Am I going to be okay in new groups? And what do people think of me? So all of those. So I think this is one reason why, because we have those emotions, and certainly when I'm standing up on that platform, anxiety is one that comes up. So one of the things that I tried to do was look around at that experience, look around and go, everything around me is as solid as can be. The wood, the lines, the wires are like this thick. So you go, okay, I feel a little less anxiety now because I understand how this works. Similar to our teaching, when you understand how it works, and you know that when you use your mind to productively create the experience you want, that you'll be fine. Ernest Holmes even talks about this. He says, we all have our own doubts, fears, and our anxieties. And above and behind these, we have something else. Something we didn't put there, an inward voice. The voice of God within us. So yes, he's saying there are all those anxieties when you're starting something new. When you're stepping off that platform, those anxieties, those issues are going to come up for you, but you have the God within us, and that is that idea that you are supported. And so you think about the things that we take for granted in our life. So if I go over, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty good guess, this light switch over here. If I go over and turn that switch, I know that something's going to happen to the lights in this room. You all have light switches in your house. You know the same thing. We don't need to know how a light switch works. We know there's wiring in the walls and it connects to the switch and I just make it happen. Same's going to happen when you get in your car to go home today. Put the key in or the fob, press the button, and your car just goes. You know that will happen. So you don't have to think about the way it would happen. Now, I will say when it comes to ziplining, that was all fine, but I needed to know, how does ziplining actually work? So I find this diagram that shows the math of it and the speed and everything. So if you needed to know how it works, because you're not quite at the level yet where you have that trust, this is how it works. Now, we have a term in Science of Mind to explain this. It's a really simple term. It's one word, and it describes when you're about to do something and you're not sure If you have this thing, you'll be fine. You want to know what that is? Faith. Exactly. It's faith. When you have faith that it will work out, that you will be supported by this harness and this wire and this pulley and this line, then you know it will work. Faith is such a huge word in the Science of Mind textbook. Any guesses as to how many times the word faith appears in the textbook? Throw out a guess. 100. Yeah, it's funny. It's not that. But 82 times the word faith appears. In fact, there's an entire chapter. Chapter 10 is all about faith. And what Holmes says in that is, he says, faith is an affirmative mental approach to reality. And it's capital R, so not like the world around us reality, but truth. Meaning, if you have that affirmative mental approach to the truth that you are supported, that you are fine, then that will guide you forward. Now, same page, literally, fear, nothing more nor less than the negative use of faith. It is faith misplaced. So you still have it, you're not using it correctly, and that's what fear is. So as I'm standing there on that platform, faith is the substance of things hoped for. I certainly hope that's going to work. I hope that they know what they're talking about. They seem like they do. I'm still here today, so clearly they did. The evidence of things not seen. Now, if you think about that wire, it's kind of interesting. It is substantial, but from a distance, you might not even see the wire. From a distance, you could look at it and go, that guy's about to leap off that platform and fly through the air. If there's not a better definition of you're standing on that platform and they tell you this will all work, and you're at the top platform, I've never done this before, and they tell you it will work, you just have to have faith, you step off, and it will happen. So I invite you now, if you're willing, to do a little experiment with me. Very brief. I'd ask you to stand up, or from wherever you are, if you don't want to stand up. Think about something in the next 6 months of your life that you'd like to do. Doesn't have to be a big thing, doesn't have to be hugely monumental, but something you'd like to do. When you have that in mind, go ahead and take a seat. Wednesday is July 1st. So that thing that you want, think about you are now standing on July 1st on Wednesday. You're on a platform that leads you inexorably to the end of the year. And whatever that thing was that you wanted, you can now see yourself going down that zip line to that thing you want. You are taking a zip line from where you are right now, where you will be on Wednesday, to where you will be on December 31. So I go back to, what would you do if you knew you couldn't fail? For me, my sort of second half of the year goal is that I want to write and apply for a second TEDx talk. This was a picture of me from the one I did a couple of years ago in Anchorage. It's an involved process, and so I'm not saying that I'm going to deliver it necessarily in the next 6 months, but I know that it's within my control to write it and apply and see where that leads me into 2027. Now, I will ask you, as you thought about the things that you want to do, what's something that you might do? Maybe you want to take a trip. Maybe you want to go see the fall colors or something in the second half of the year. Maybe, I've heard this many times, people have an idea, they want to write a book. They've got an experience and they want to finish the book. Maybe run or walk a 5K or do something physical that you haven't done before. Maybe find a new place or meet someone new. Maybe strengthen, deepen a relationship that you're currently in. Those are all things that you can do in the next 6 months. And here's the beauty of a 6-month period of time. It's not an entire year. So if you think about 6 months, it feels, to me, feels more doable in the sense of like, okay, yeah, that's something I could do in 6 months. And you come back to what are the reasons that you might not. Now I can say for me, the reason, probably the biggest reason that I would have for not applying for a TEDx talk is that when I did the first one, I had a blessed experience. I think I applied to 4 of them, and within a month got selected. There was a guy that I met there at Anchorage who had applied 44 times before he got accepted at Anchorage. And I remember thinking, I don't know if I could keep at something 44 times. So that goes, talk about anxiety, that goes around in my head where I go, that was such an amazing experience. I was so blessed. And part of, I can say my identity was, I got picked within the first 5 talks, which is not typical. So I might have that anxiety, what if that's not the experience I have now? And then is it going to somehow like tarnish that memory because now it was, do you hear how crazy that sounds? Like when we get in our head with those thoughts. And so as I think back to the zip lining, the reason I didn't want to go zip lining was because I wanted to sit on the beach. I wanted to read. And this was me actually reading a book that I read then. I loved it. If you don't know this author, Rebecca Cyril, she writes kind of cool metaphysical fiction where characters have like very sort of, in my estimation, science of mind experience. I love her work. This is one that's called Expiration Dates. But this is what I wanted. My daughter said, no, I want to go ziplining. And so I thought about it. Obviously, I said yes. And what's interesting was, as I think about that experience now, that is now my new favorite thing that I've done in the last couple of years. Like if I think about all the things I've done in the last 5 years, the TED Talk and ziplining are going to be at the top of my list. And yet I had to be nudged into it. I had to be sort of pushed into it by my daughter. And it wasn't just me, because at the end of the trip, I asked my wife and daughter, I said, like, what? And I didn't tell them what my experience was, but I said, what was your favorite part of the trip, of the experience? And they both said it was the zip line. Isn't that fascinating? Like, it was something that wasn't in my consciousness. It wasn't something that I really wanted, but it was something that was an amazing experience. So what did it take? It took taking the first step and climbing the platform. You have to make that first step to where you go, okay, I'm going to step onto that platform and see where it takes me. I'm going to try and add more zip into my life. All right, so how do you do this? How do you add more zip in your life? Well, I've got 3 suggestions for how you can do this, how this might look in your life. Something new. Now, it could be something that you want to complete or finish, but something maybe that's new. I'm starting Wednesday, I'm going to start painting. I have a painting kit, and I'm going to start for 60 days, start painting. That's something that's new for me. And it's definitely slightly outside of what I would think of as me, because up until now, I don't see myself as a painter. For sure, the zip lining, did it take convincing? Yes. My daughter had to convince me to do it. And then also, you'll know that it's something maybe new and outside of you if it requires a release form, which the zip lining definitely did. And I will say, fortunately, my wife's an attorney, so she could like look at the release form and say, yes, it's fine to sign. So that's something new. Another way is start from something that's easy. Don't feel like you have to go to the very top. In fact, the painting thing I'm doing is literally a paint by numbers thing, where it has little design and there's little numbers that tell you exactly which paint to use. I'm like, I could do that. I can follow numbers. And the good news is when the painting's done, I'll never tell anyone there are numbers underneath it. But that's easy for me. Training wheels, definitely, that's okay. And enjoy the feeling of it. Do you know, like when you first learned how to ride a bike, and maybe when the training wheels came off for the first time, was that not the greatest feeling in the world? Like you would say to your parents, look at me, I'm doing it. That's the energy that you know will come up when you make it easy for yourself. And then the third one is commit. There's no if it doesn't work out. So with ziplining, it's kind of fascinating. What happens is they drive you to the top of the mountain in an ATV. Now they tell you, like if you get up to the top and you discover it's not for you, we'll drive you back down, which sounds like the drive of shame, like you're arriving back on the mountain because you were the one that couldn't do it. Although fortunately, they're smart. They have a small little platform at the base before you get in the ATV so that they test out like if there's going to be anyone who truly freaks out. No one in our group did. But imagine just, this is the beauty of 6 months. You could probably commit to something for 6 months and go, I'm going to see it through. Another technical term, decide. Just decide to do it. Emerson says, once you make a decision, the universe, and now we could think of the universe as that harness that's on us, the strap, the pulley, everything, conspires to make it happen. You will be on that platform. The universe, in the presence of everything around you, conspires to make it happen. One more reason, just have fun with it. This was the last one that we went on. And so this was, believe it or not, that's me going outside of my comfort zone. This guy was crazy. I would never have done that. But what I did decide to do was, so when you stand on the platform, it's totally up to you as to when you step off. What I decided to do in this moment was turn around and step off backwards. I was literally going to fall backwards off of here, releasing any notion that I had any control over this, that the universe in the guise of this pulley and wire and harness had me. So that's me going backwards. That was probably, for that first experience, I consider that a big victory. That's me going backwards and having fun. So now let's go back to the next 6 months for you. If you imagine what it is that you want to do, something that you want to bring into your life, some experience, and we have amazing practitioners here today. If something's come up for you, go see a practitioner and say, I'm thinking about doing this. They will know the truth for you, that what you bring out, what you speak, can be your reality. So imagine that that's possible for you. Know that you are supported by this harness, by this amazing understanding of how your mind works, and that you speak the word, law says, yes, whatever. It'll just take you from one platform to the other. You will be guided along that wire. It will happen surely for you. And in the next 6 months, whatever you put out there that you think about, know that it is possible for you, and that when you get to the bottom of that, you will be like that little kid on the bicycle, and you will say, look at me, look what I did in the last 6 months. Namaste. Will you join me now in consciousness? And know that you are always surrounded, supported, uplifted, that you walk on light, you walk on sunshine. There is that expression, walking on sunshine. I know that this is how we can live our lives, this higher, deeper love that is who we are. And I know that today, this week, this rest of this year, that there is that opportunity for our thoughts to create that, and that is who we are. We are the embodiment, the individualization of the entire expansive universe of creative consciousness of love, and that anything that you put out into your mind and then you step off of that platform is yours to live, yours to experience, and that anything that is not that goes away, and you simply glide along in that beautiful experience. Have that knowing, that truth that is the perfect unfoldment of that desire. And so I know that that is true. I see that and know that everything that is possible for us going forward, we simply have to think it, know it, believe it, feel it, and then that is going to be your truth. I know this. I'm so grateful for this, so grateful to know this. I release my word for this entire experience, knowing that it is done, perfect and complete, and that on December 31, you will look back at the last 6 months and say, that was the most amazing 6 months of my life because I decided that it was. And so it is.
Places I remember all my life, though some have changed, some forever, not for better. Some have gone, some remain. All these places, they had their moments with lovers and friends. as I could still recall. You some are dead and some are living. In my life, I love them all. But in all these friends and lovers, yes, there is no one who compares to you. All these memories, they lose their meaning. When I think of love, I think of something new. Oh, I know I'll never ever lose affection for the people and things that went before. Yes, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I've loved you more. In my life, I loved you more. Oh, I know I'll never ever lose affection for the people and things that went before. Yes, I know I'll often stop and think about them. In my life, I loved you more. In my life, I loved you more. In my life, I loved
That was so beautiful. Thank you, Jason. Let's give him another hand, everyone. Beautiful. Now, this is our time for conscious giving. If you came prepared, just stay in your seat for a moment. And just if you have something to offer today, just hold it in your hand while we pull up the affirmation. We'll say this together. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. It is evidence of my conviction that God is the source and substance of our supply. I joyously contribute to the vision of my center, knowing it returns to me multiplied abundantly. Feel free to come on up.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives to us, Spirit receives through us, Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us.
We give thanks for these gifts, knowing that they bless this community and that their energy and impact extend far beyond these walls, flowing outward into our city, our state, our country, and our world, touching lives in ways we may never fully see. We recognize this moment as part of the sacred flow of giving and receiving, a living expression of love in circulation. As together we say, and so it is. Thank you. Let's all give another hand to Jason today for his musical gifts. For Ian and Evan in the back for making our people online able to join us. And an extra special thank you to Dr. Reverend Thor this morning for such a moving talk. Let's please stand for the peace song.
Take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally.